In these uncertain economic times, it's easy to be worried about protecting your wealth, your hard-earned savings, and your family's financial future. Plunging interest rates, the devaluating dollar, and political unrest constantly threaten what you have worked hard to earn and all that you own. That's why now it's more important than ever to protect your assets and have the money you need to make your dreams come true. Welcome to the Global Wealth Fortress Report with successful global entrepreneur and wealth preservation expert Joel Nagel. Joel's helped thousands of people just like you protect what you have so that you can make even more and make your every dream come true. So, sit back and enjoy Joel Nagel's offshore expert advice on how you can live the good life at a great price, where the sun never sets on your financial fortress.
So welcome to another edition of the Global Wealth Fortress Report. I'm Joel Nagel, and I'm broadcasting to you today live from the Belize Foreign Ministry office in Belize City. And my very special guest today is the Belize Foreign Minister, Wilfred Elrington. Minister Elrington, thanks so much for being on the show today.
You're very welcome.
It's the elections are upon us, not only in the States, but here in Belize. But you've decided that you're not going to run. I guess maybe you feel a little bit like a lame duck. I don't know. What is it like?
Actually, thus far, I've been very, very busy. I keep busy, and I imagine I'm going to be kept busy until the 11th of next month, November, when the elections are held. So that I continue to operate in routine fashion.
Sure.
My duties have not diminished in any way, and so I don't feel any real difference.
But you don't have to be out there campaigning like everybody else.
That is the big relief, that I don't have to be involved in the campaigning, and I chose not to get involved this time. I think I would be more helpful to the nation, really, if I were to step back, recharge batteries, and contribute in a different way to the life of the society.
That's very understood. And you have served with distinction as the Foreign Minister of Belize now for almost 13 years.
Yes.
And I read somewhere that makes you the longest serving Foreign Minister in the entire Americas.
Well, I'm not sure about that, but certainly in Belize, I'm the longest continuous serving Foreign Minister.
Now, I know that you are involved in many things in bilateral, multilateral relations all over the world, but I think what you'll probably be most known for during your tenure was your ability to bring Belize and Guatemala together to try and resolve the border dispute that's been in place since 1859. Could you tell our viewers a little bit about that dispute and what you've done?
We're very happy to have been able to bring it to where it presently is now. This is a dispute which arose in consequence of the signing of the 1859 boundary treaty between the United Kingdom and Guatemala. The treaty existed without any difficulty seemingly until in the 1940s, late 1930s, 1940s, when the Guatemalans started to suggest that they want to withdraw from it, abrogate it, not be bound by it. They based that on the assertion that there were certain provisions in the treaty which ought to have been performed by the British, which were not performed. They themselves had obligations to perform on it, which were not performed too. But the British position was always that those were not fundamental issues. They were de minimis issues, and the failure upon the part of both parties not to have complied with some of the provisions did not vitiate the treaty. But nonetheless, that kind of argument persisted for a number of years, and from quite early from the 40s, the British invited the Guatemalans to take the matter to the International Court of Justice, even to the predecessor organization, and the Guatemalans did not really take up the challenge, and that matter overshadowed us, prevented us from getting our independence from 1960s really up until 1981, when in fact the British decided to give us our independence, notwithstanding the existence of the claim. And subsequent governments after independence sought to get the Guatemalans to agree to take the matter to the International Court of Justice. They did not agree. But when I got involved in 2008, within a short time thereafter, we reached a position where the Guatemalans did agree to have the matter go to the International Court of Justice. And I think we signed an agreement to that effect in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. And we had referenda in both countries to affirm that agreement, that we would take it to the ICJ. And in both countries, the populace agreed that we should take the matter to the International Court of Justice. And so the Guatemalans were supposed to have submitted their memorial. They have already indicated to the International Court of Justice as, yes, we will now submit this matter to your jurisdiction. And they were given until the 8th of June of this year to submit their memorial. But they claim that because of the COVID-19 pandemic, they have not been able to complete the work that was needed to be done for them to be able to submit their memorial by the 8th of June. And so they were given by the International Court of Justice until December to submit their memorial. So they should be submitting their memorial on the 8th of December. And then we have until June 2022 to respond. And after that, of course, the legal pleadings will continue, and then there will be the oral hearing, and the matter should be concluded, hopefully within the next 4 years or so. That, in essence, is the history of the matter.
Well, it's tremendous that you were able to get everybody to the table, because I know in previous attempts, one side was willing, but the other side wasn't.
Yeah,
so
protracted. That has been going on certainly from 1940s, before I was born. Protracted negotiations came to nothing. But fortunately, when I got into office, shortly thereafter, we had a very good Guatemalan Foreign Minister by the name of Honorable Wilfred, and his president, I think his name was Alvaro Cocom, I think so. And they were very, very accommodating. And we were able to persuade them to take the matter to the ICJ. We're very fortunate. We dealt with about 2 or 3 Guatemalan presidents, but they all remained bound to the agreement. And things have been going pretty well since then.
Now, if somebody's looking to live or retire or invest in Belize, should they be concerned or worried about this? I know that one of the Guatemalan claims was that all of Belize belonged to Guatemala.
Well, when I was a child growing up, I was very concerned about it and about the claim. But the longer it has persisted, the less menacing it has become. And the Guatemalans, from all indications, clearly appreciate and understand that they really don't have a substantial claim to our country. This is something which they inherited. All the legal arguments which have been advanced, all the legal opinions which have been given both to Belizean authorities as well as to the Guatemalan authorities have made it pellucid, very, very clear that Guatemala doesn't have a chance to succeed in its claim legally. It doesn't have a chance, neither legally nor morally, nor equitably. So we are very confident that they will not succeed. They will not be able to acquire any part of Belize's territory, neither maritime nor terrestrial. Mm-hmm. We are very confident about that. And the Guatemalans I'm sure are of that with themselves, but they can't resolve this matter on their own. They have to have it done through the courts. So we have no fear. There is no fear in any of us, certainly not in me, that we are going to be affected negatively by the court judgment. In my view, the best thing that could have happened to our country is for us to have the matter resolved at the International Court of Justice.
And in the meantime, it seems like these have sort of they've become measures, interim measures that have improved the confidence and improved the relations between Belize and Guatemala. Yeah. What maybe you could talk about some of the things like the fact that more trade, agriculture, and things like that has happened since this has come about.
The Organization of American States has been mediating between the two of us, and the Organization of American States has an office at the border, and that office is there to ensure that whenever there is any incident between the two countries, they in fact are the impartial umpire to just verify the facts on the ground. That is basically their role, and to get us talking in the event that there is any need for that. They have been doing a splendid job thus far. We have signed an agreement to a 14-point agreement with the Guatemalans, which allows us to do trade with them. I'll have relationship in terms of their migrants. We deal with things like this, criminal activities involving theft of vehicles and the like. Provision relating to schooling of their children, so their Guatemalan children continue to come to Belize and get educated. So we have a very good relationship with them. We have a partial scope agreement, which allows for trade. As a matter of fact, now they're one of our biggest trading partners in the cattle industry. They are buying a lot of the cattle that we have. We have a number of agreements which we are working through with them. The relationship is very, very cordial. We have no real difficulty. I am called often by the Guatemalan Foreign Minister for support on the international scene, and we provide that support without any difficulty. We have no animosity with them at this time. We have a good relationship. From time to time, we have a few of their people coming across and poaching wild animals, and those who want to make farms or milpers on our land. But we sort that out. We have a pretty good protocol to dealing with that kind of situation, which they understand. And so we are working quite well, to my mind, with them thus far. We had a difficulty with them on the southern border, the Sarstoon River, the middle of which is Belize's southern boundary, but both of us are entitled to use the river. From time to time there has been a little bit of discord down there, but that also is being managed very effectively. Our military have to go up that river every month, several times, to reprovision our troops that are stationed in that vicinity. And they do it every month without problem. So we don't have a problem with Guatemala. We have good trading with them, increased trading, and the relationship is quite satisfactory.
Now, I would be remiss if I let you go without just asking for a quick update about the COVID-19, particularly for foreign investors, retirees, tourists that want to come to Belize. Could you just maybe clarify where Belize is right now on that front?
All right. Fortunately for Belize, the Prime Minister was exceedingly on the mark in appreciating just how serious this pandemic could be and the effects that it could have on Belize. So very early he established joint commissions involving the opposition party to deal with all aspects of the pandemic. Regular meetings are held. The medical people are involved. We listen to our medical experts. We have been doing testing and tracing. We have been doing quarantining. And we have certainly managed to still contain the virus, but it's not easy, largely because of our porous borders with Mexico and Guatemala and border jumpers, people who come into the country from those countries who have, in fact, high incidence of the virus. So our numbers have been going up of late, and we are working on it. We are working on it assiduously. We have doctors from other countries working with us to strengthen our staff. We are working very closely with the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARFA, that help us. We're working in close collaboration with CARICOM in dealing with it. We also work in close collaboration with PAHO, Pan American Health Organization, and the WHO World Health Organization. So all these organizations help us to acquire the necessary equipment we need. We also work, thanks to you, very closely with the IAEA in Austria. They are providing us right now with some x-rays, and they have also provided us with other equipment that we have needed. So although the numbers are going up, we continue to work assiduously. Most Belizeans, when you see them on the street, wear masks, and we try to practice social distancing, and we try to practice the quarantining. We had in the early stages complete lockdowns. Those have been relaxed, and the Prime Minister has no hesitancy in locking down parts of the country when the need arises for doing that. So from an official point of view, every effort is being made, given our resources and our capacity and our limitations. We are doing all within our power to contain the spread of this virus.
It is a difficult balance. You have to contain on the one hand, but then to also open up on the other.
Yeah.
And I know recently you have opened up Belize back to international tourists.
Yeah, we have opened up the international airport. We still have not opened up the land borders because, as I said, but Mexico has a high incidence of the virus, and Guatemala as well, so we've got to be careful with them. So our border with them is closed. They can't come in. As a matter of fact, we're not allowing people as a rule to come in through the borders. We only open up the international airport, and that we're getting flights from North America primarily. But yes, we have to keep the economy going because that is absolutely imperative for a small country like ours. We absolutely have to encourage and induce people to come in and invest. And there are some enterprises that are still going on quite efficiently. We have the agro sector is continuing to operate. We have the call centers, and they are doing quite a good job. They employ a lot of people. Some of our hotels are opening up back. Construction continues apace. Transportation. So most activities are going almost at pre-COVID level. I think the biggest fall off has been in tourism industry, the service sector industry.
And we're just about out of time on this segment, but what would you say to someone who sees this, who's interested in maybe coming here for a trip, or a retiree who wants to come and spend the winter this month, in terms of Belize being open?
Belize is certainly open to receive the tourists. It's for that reason that, in fact, we opened up the airport, and we have put in every single measure to try to ensure that people can come and remain safe in the country. You will know, Joel, that I am out every single day. I go out early in the morning, I exercise, and I walk the streets of Belize. Most people wear their masks. We fortunately have a very small population so that people are not jammed up together. We have very, very warm weather. We have good warm weather. We have, most days we have breeze, good Caribbean breeze blowing off the sea, so that Generally speaking, because our people wear the masks, practice social distancing, and we don't have a crowd, people are pretty healthy and safe. I myself don't have any fear for my own family and myself. We are careful. We do a lot of hand sanitizing, and we wear the masks. And I'm sure that people who come in and act responsibly should have no problem. They should have no problem. You come, especially if you're going to come and spend time out on the Keys and places like that. The hotels are taking serious precaution to make sure that their employees are in good health and that they will not bring the virus to any of the guests. And as I'm saying, the facilities are very open, very airy. There are tourists who have come. I have noticed quite a few divers who have been coming to the country. I have seen that myself because the dock in Fort George, where we walk every morning. And I recently spoke to Mr. Grief from Tropicana. He told me that he saw other tourists coming back. So tourists are coming back, and I haven't heard any of them falling ill or anything like that. So I'm pretty sure that if people should have no problem to come back and to be safe being here.
Great. Well, Minister, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule today. It's been a real pleasure to visit with you, and I hope our viewers enjoyed your presentation about the Guatemala border dispute, a little discussion about coronavirus, and yes, indeed, Belize is open for business. So I hope you'll take this opportunity when you're making your travel plans for this winter to keep Belize in your thoughts, because it's wide open and you'll be really welcomed. They've really gone through a lot of work to come up with this gold star package to make sure that the places where tourists stay will be safe. So on that note, I want to thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you next time on the Global Wealth Fortress Report. Goodbye.
Thanks for joining Joel Nagel and the Global Wealth Fortress Report, a whole new approach to asset protection and estate planning, so that now you can live the good life at a great price, where the sun never sets on your financial fortress.